What's going on, YouTube? I had to change it up because I'm starting to hear a lot of this. Hey guys, because I tend to say that a lot. Anyway, so today's DIY video, what we're going to figure out how to do is put some backup lights on the back of the camper here. First thing you have to do is figure out where you want to mount them. At first I was thinking I'd probably mount some at the top. I do have a camera up there that it started out being a cheap wireless camera, and it was about 80 bucks, and you know, you get what you pay for. It just doesn't get good reception. So I have a wire on order that I'm probably going to have to wire the same route through the camper that I decided to put these lights here, because I'm going to make that a wired connection, then the camera will be great. Now, I was initially thinking about putting the lights on the top, but I watched a few videos and they had them down on the bumper, and that's going to be a lot easier to do. I really wish this bumper had more of the steel tube, or the square steel type, because you can get attachments and stuff to go on there. It's just a lot easier to mount things. But it's not what I have, so we'll make do. We'll figure out where we're going to mount these lights at, and then we're going to figure out how we're going to wire them. You know, with your wiring, there's a few different options. Technically, you could get into one of the lights back here, one of the parking lights, and take the power off of it and put a switch here. You could run a wire all the way to the 7-pin connector, which most campers have. And they have a dedicated circuit for reverse lights, but I want to be able to turn them on even when I don't have the truck in reverse, so I wanted to be on a switch. So I'm going to take a third option. I'm going to run the hot wire all the way to the front, probably under the camper, and put a switch on the battery box, and put a little fuse there right at the battery. I think that's going to be one of the best ways to do this. And quite frankly, I think that one of the main reasons I'm going to mount them down low is because it'll still get the job done, and I don't have to try to hide that wire on the back of the camper anywhere as much. And so let's get to it. Carl, why don't you think those lights are working? There ain't no gas in it. Carl, lights work on electricity. They don't work on gasoline. I reckon it's not getting electricity then. How do you know they're not working because there's no electricity? Because I still got the switch right here in my hand. Okay, so I'm using these just 12-volt cheap lights off of Amazon that I had laying around for another project. I was actually going to have somebody fabricate an off-road bumper for my truck, but just couldn't. Well, they fell through for me, and I couldn't justify spending like $1,200 for one. So I just got a winch tray instead. But on this, you know, these are the lights that I had, so it's what I'm going to use. And with this fiberglass bumper, it's hard to find somewhere to mount them to. You know, I was thinking initially like down here or something, but I don't think that's going to hold it very well. You know, if you have like an aluminum or something, you can do a rivet or two. This bracket has one large hole for like a screw, so we're going to drill a hole, put some silicone in there. I don't use silicone a lot on a trailer anymore, but I will put some on this. And we're just going to put it right here where that seam is. And as far as the wire, I think I'm just going to have it hang down here and go under and then hide it, but we'll keep you guys updated on that. Alright, so we're just going to eyeball this. I'm going to put one right here. The caulking gun that I got over here at the camper is really cheap, and it's like a Walmart $2 POS, and it won't work. So I just cut the whole tip off because it's what I had here. We're just going to dip the screw down in it. should give me pretty good coverage on that. I'm also going to take something and wipe some around the inside of the screw head. I'll make sure we got this turned the right way. Alright. Then I'm going to step over here and do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll pick up there in a minute. Alright, so given the fact that my caulking gun wasn't really working, I made the best I could. I did get some rubber gloves and put a little bit of silicone around the top. It's pretty messy there, but I don't care. And as far as the wire that I plan on leaving hanging down here, you know, ordinarily that's not the way that I do things, but I keep having to remind myself this is a cheap camper project. I don't have a lot in this camper. I tend to way overbuild things. I've put more money into it than I had originally thought that I was going to, but you know, I'm still not got that much invested in it. And this is the cheap camper project, and we're not going to way overdo it. So we're going to mount our light up here. Which we have the bracket in upside down. That is why you should have checked it when you put it on there. Luckily, it's not going to be too late to fix that. So I thought I did look at it. Alright, so I'm a little dirty because I've been under the camper. Decided what I'm going to do to put the ground wire on these is I'm going to ground it to the stabilizing jack, because the bolt in there obviously goes up into the frame. So hopefully that'll work out. And then we just got to connect our wires here and run the hot wire all the way to the front. I'm going to show you an image right here of the stabilizer jack, the bolt that I'm going to put on there, and I'll follow it up with a picture of what that looks like when I get it done. Alright, so on these, this just goes to that ground bolt that I was talking about. We're using watertight crimpers, so we have to torch them. Get that plastic to go down. And I'm still probably going to go over it with some electrical tape too. If you don't have a torch, you can use a lighter, but I have better luck with a torch as far as getting it to shrink uniformly. Alright, so we're just going to do that on the other light, and then we're going to connect this hot wire to that hot wire, and then go up under the trailer there. Well, obviously we're going to run it from here to there, up under the bumper. I'll show you pictures of all that at the end, but then we're going to take it from there all the way to the front of the camper, where I have to find the switch that I've had for 3 weeks because I didn't put it where I would remember it, but I know it's here somewhere. So what I ended up doing, so I do have this negative on the stabilizer jack bolt, I got a T-tap here splitting it to go the other side. I initially was just going to ground it on the other side. This was easier, and the red wire had to run over there anyway. And then I got some tape here just to cover up the wires till it goes under the bumper. I also have the connections done on the other side. They're the exact same, just red to red, black to black, with the exception of the red has 2 leads in one end of the connector. That way it can go from there and splice it all the way up to the battery. I have the wire stranded on the outside around the camper right now. I want to hook it up to the battery just temporarily without the switch, make sure the electrical works, because I'm the kind of person that usually just goes ahead and puts it all together and then find a problem, and it's a lot harder to fix after you put all the wiring up and everything. So just make sure that it works. Alright, so I don't know if you can tell, this has lights. Good job. Alright, so now we're going to go unhook that from the battery and start running the wires. I'm going to have to go to the store to find something to attach these with. That way they're just not hanging around. Try to make them kind of nice and neat. Okay guys, so we're about done. We got the wire run all the way to the front. I'm going to be showing you some more pictures here. I did run it along the gas line there. I got some plastic cable ties to, well, I use Harbor Freight ties along that gas line, and along the bumper I'll show you, but I use some plastic pieces that, you know, fold over their self-tapping screw that hopefully will stay in that fiberglass okay without coming out, causing issues for people. It feels like it's got a real good bite to me. The only issue I'm having is my last DIY video. My wife accused me of looking like Farmer John because I had on my working overalls and the ugly low-cut V-neck shirt. And so I tried to be more presentable. And being that I'm of the younger generation, I must blame my problems on other people. And so I gotta say, this is what you guys are doing to my good clothes here. I'm sure there's like dirt all over me from shimmying up this thing. But it's okay. We're almost done. Hopefully we can get done because a storm's a-coming. So we got our light. We're coming down. It's starting to get dark. I forgot to take pictures earlier. So then our wires go across here. There I got it split off, and the negatives in the end of that stabilizer jack bolt. They go all the way down to the other side where they connect and come back up to the top light. And I'll get closer so I can show you what it looks like. Alright, so then I got the one wire. I managed to fit it between the bumper and the stabilizer jack, and so it goes above the stabilizer jack and up through there to that gas line, and from the gas line I just have it zip tied. It turns into a solid gas line right ahead of that, and then it's just zip tied all the way to the front. At the front it still follows the propane line. I just have it follow on the propane, the flexible propane line up here, so it gets closer to the tank. And then it joins up with the batteries that go into the box. Okay, so we got our wire here that comes from all the way to the back of the trailer where the lights were. Knees on gravel hurting. We got our rocker switch. We're going to mount it right here in the side of the battery box. Just drill a hole right in it, pop this thing right in. It's weatherproof. It's supposed to have a blue LED on it, light up whenever the switch is turned on, so it won't be a parasitic drain. And I believe the way this is wired, we'll have to see, but the brass is supposed to be the negative. So we'll get a black wire, we'll connect it to that, run it outside the battery box and screw it into the frame. The middle is the hot wire, so it's going to be going from the middle terminal over to a fuse block that we have over here to try to help clean things up a little bit for the power in, because this just is basically an input from the battery that spreads it out. So the middle is the hot wire, and then the other silver one on the end is going to be our wire that goes all the way back to the lights. Capiche? Clear as mud? I know, right? Okay, so we're going to use a Forstner bent to go through the plastic. Doesn't sound like the brightest idea because it's really made for wood, but we're going to give it a shot. Of course, be careful not to drill a hole in your battery because that's a couple $100 mistake if you got a good battery. Ooh, I just touched the edge of it. Okay, so I got everything set up here. Got me a negative wire. We're going to put a terminal on here so we can bolt it down to the frame for good ground. Get that done. Okay. I'm going to take this bolt that we took out. I'm going to put this washer has some rubber on it, so I want it to get good connection with the actual bolt head. Put that in there. And we're gonna should be good ground for us. Alright. So then we're going to take this. This would be a lot easier to do. If we took the battery out, the battery weighs a ton. There we go. I'll leave that a little long. Our switch has blade connectors, so we're just going to put a couple of these on here. Alright, so like I was saying earlier, the negative should go on the brass colored terminal. And then we can go ahead and get our other wire here. This is the power to the trailer, so it's going to go on the other outside. Then we need a power wire. So I got this piece of red wire. We have one connector on it here. It's like I said a while ago, going to go over to our fuse block, right like that. And we're going to give ourselves plenty of wire here. Better have a couple extra inches. Another blade terminal. Fish this one last wire through that hole. Come on, Bear. Try to make these people think you know what you're doing. There we go. This is going to be the actual power wire. So it's going to go in the middle. Lights up. Which means our trailer lights should be turning on. Alright, so last step, clean it all up, push all those in. Okay, so we're going to test this thing out. It's starting to get dark now. We'll flip the switch, light comes on. Let's go take a look at the back. Without it being totally dark yet, but you can still tell where the light beam is. So it does come over on the side some, which is great. It's mostly centered back here, right behind the camper. But looks like it's going to work great. Not too shabby. Anybody can do that. Worst problem is just crawling under the camper to run the wire. And you could have run a switch back here and just only run it 2 feet. But I just wanted it to be closer to the truck.